Hey everyone, one of the subjects I want to explore with this channel is to remind myself and viewers of people who have lived before us that have followed truth and set examples of faith. One of those people is Corrie Ten Boom, who lived with their family in Holland during World War II. They were arrested for protecting Jews, held in concentration camps, but she survived to tell her story. I decided to be more comprehensive with this review, so I reread the book, The Hiding Place. I watched the 1975 movie of the same title, watched a retelling called Return to the Hiding Place, released in 2015, and watched a play that was released in 2023. To start, I'm not going to say anything new here, but the book is the best. In terms of who Corrie was, she was pretty ordinary. She didn't have boys chasing her. She didn't care about clothing styles. She loved and she lost. She worked and lived until it was time for her to make a stand. As a play on the word everyman, she was the every girl. One of the questions I asked while I was researching all of this was what made her different. Two things stood out to me, is that she had a family that imparted wisdom to her, as the advice that came from her father and mother that we can benefit from is enormous. She also gave her heart to God and saw God working when others would deny it. In fact, there are many examples where you see this foundation. Jesus and his disciples are great examples of this. From what we know, they all lived pretty ordinary lives and all worked trades before Jesus' ministry started. The Ten Booms were people who had embraced the simplicity of life, yet knew to stand when innocent lives were at stake and evil ruled. A particular moment that I appreciated was during hiding they would show the different expressions of faith from different denominations and languages amidst their circumstances. Also, side note, this is one of the most awesome looking hardcovers that I own. Now, to discuss the movies, the first movie was released in 1975 by the Billy Graham Association. The movie starts in 1940, so it starts immediately after the German occupation in Holland. Something to notice about most movies and plays based off of any source material is that they typically abridge or combine elements to move the story along. With that in mind, both the movie and the play are not the most accurate retelling of the book. Context of quotes are changed, including conversations and situations. Look, I get it. There's budgetary restrictions or there are creative choices to have a potentially greater impact. There are times when it bothers me, but with this film, the heart and message is still very well intact. The main players from the book are very well portrayed with their mannerisms and the quotes that they use. Movies of this quality in 1975 with this subject matter is pretty unique. However, there are a couple of scenes where the lighting is not good and the movie could really use a 4K restoration. I'll also note that the 1975 movie should be rated PG-13 because of the brutality and abuse shown towards the women in a concentration camp. The 2015 sequel, Return of the Hiding Place, is produced by Spencer Productions, based off the book by Hans Poley of the same name. This movie is not really a sequel, but more of a retelling from a slightly different perspective. While I was glad to know the story, the film wasn't that great. It reminded me of an expensive student film. The acting wasn't great, but there were a couple of bright moments from John Rhys Davis and Rachel Spencer Hewitt. There were some special effects in the movie, but honestly, it would have been better if some of those had been cut. The 2023 play from the Rabbit Room, in my mind, has the best acting, and though there are natural limitations, it was very well constructed and I enjoyed it a lot. I recommend watching the 1975 film and the play from 2023. The movie is actually free on YouTube, and I'll post a link in the description. If you have the time as well, the book is a great read. In the current day, there is so much dissension, a present Holocaust with abortion, and even a new rise of anti-Semitism. I don't know if the world at large will enter another time like World War II, but overall, the story of Corrie Ten Boom and The Hiding Place is an encouragement and reminder to stand and abide by righteousness and faith, as she genuinely showed how beauty can come from suffering. Take care.